This episode is rated M for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
And we welcome you to a very special edition of the Fatal 4-Way live on the PFC Entertainment Network. Along with Eric Scherer and Brian Boff, I'm Jason Clouse, and conspicuous by his absence, although hopefully he's going to be joining us at some point during the course of the next hour, one Hollywood Q, Quadell Edwards, but he's enjoying some family time out of town this weekend. The four of us, when you include Q, we got an extended holiday weekend break here. So Q is taking full advantage of that and spending some much needed family time. So if he doesn't make it to the show here tonight, we certainly understand why. With that being said, again, this is a very special episode. Scheduling conflicts and things of this nature has moved our show over here to the PFC network this week and for the next episode too, but we're going to be talking more about that later on the program because we've got a lot to talk about here tonight, gentlemen. And anybody who is watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, or Riverside.fm and you want to join the conversation, you can correspond with us live through the live chat on Facebook or YouTube. And in just a moment, I will post the link in the Facebook feed. So if you want to be on the show with us live, you click that link, jump through a hoop or two, it'll put you in the virtual waiting room. I get the notification, boom, you're on the show with us. We're going to be looking at some interesting news with AEW, a shakeup with TNA. We're going to be looking at the 15 best pro wrestling or wrestling-related movies. That's going to be a fun little breakdown. But we're going to start things off this week, gentlemen, with a preview of the next premium live event offering from WWE. Goes down next weekend from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time start. The first hour will be broadcast, of course, on ESPN, this being Night of Champions. Let's look at the card real quick as we get prepared for this event. I guess unofficially the centerpiece of this particular PLE is going to be the finals of both the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. We will see Oba Femi will be taking on main event Jey Uso in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. And this is something, Brian, you and I were talking a little bit about before we came on the air here tonight. There's really a number of ways you could go with this, but the one thing that I took away from our conversation is that for the first time in a minute, a lot of these matches seems like they're unpredictable. You could go either way with Oba Femi, who is riding this wave of momentum, and with the winner getting a shot at a world championship at SummerSlam, in one of the nights of SummerSlam. Oba Femi, we can all agree, is a future world champion, but with this unfinished business and the looming storm cloud hanging over him that is Brock Lesnar, it makes Jey Uso a little bit more like we're not just going to dismiss him as an easy win for Oba. It could go either way. Brian, we're going to start with you here tonight. Oba Femi and Jey Uso for the King of the Ring finals. Where do you see this one going? Because like I said, we had a conversation about this, and it could be either one of these two, right?
Yeah, but like we were saying, for SummerSlam being in Minnesota and Oba having Brock Lesnar right there in the shadows, it seems like that is a match that we're going to see. So the only way I see Oba, if he wins, it would be Oba having 2 matches at SummerSlam, which, where most points I'd be like, that ain't going to happen. Oba, who knows? Man? They might do that with the Oba. I could see them. But I feel like if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on Jey. And man, we started going through the discussions of what the rundown of that with the possibility of a matchup in the future with either Cody or Sammy or Gunther. Yeah, that just opened up the doors to a whole nother can of worms.
Right. No, it's there's a lot of question marks going into this. Eric, I know you've been paying attention to more of the current product, especially with WWE. The King of the Ring tournament, they tried to add, and Queen of the Ring, respectfully, they tried to add some stakes to this with the winner getting a shot at a world championship at SummerSlam. In many estimations, the second biggest premium live event on the WWE calendar. With the feud the way that it is going with Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar, both these guys are tied at 1 match apiece. Oba getting a dominating win at WrestleMania. Lesnar follows it up with Clash in Italy. Now with SummerSlam heading to Minneapolis, which we know is Lesnar's hometown, and a lot of speculation that he does indeed intend to formally retire from professional wrestling. I can't imagine a better sight for this to happen than in front of 60-something thousand fans at the stadium in Minneapolis, home of the Minnesota Vikings. Jey Uso, though, you can't really discount this guy because of everything that he's done in the last handful of years on his own, primarily, eventually becoming world heavyweight champion at WrestleMania in Las Vegas last year. So it's not out of the question that Jey Uso could get a win here, but it doesn't happen without some sort of influence from Brock Lesnar. Would you agree with that or no?
So oh boy. If I was writing this, I'd put everything. What was that?
I said it'd be in crayon.
I'd put all the weight on Oba, put everything on Oba. Have him beat Jey. Not only have him beat Jey, but have him beat the whole bloodline. Have the whole bloodline try to come out and stop and help Jey win. But Oba still wins. Brock Lesnar, night 1, he retires Brock Lesnar night 1. Night 2, he beats the OTC and takes the world title. Put it all on Oba.
Do you don't think it's too early to have Oba Femi versus Roman Reigns?
Man, it does feel early. But I don't know. I'm off of the Jey train. He's botched so many times. He's come out under the influence, allegedly, against CM Punk, and I can't ride Jey in this. I'm rooting for Oba.
All right. I can certainly see that, and I can appreciate your opinion there. And you're right. We've sat here and talked about, man, what derailed Jey Uso so fast. because I mean it seemed like it took him forever to get to main event status, and once he got there, he defeats Gunther, one of the best in-ring wrestlers of this era, and I don't know, it seemed like very quickly after winning the championship, the wheels fell off. So is this another opportunity to try to get him to break out of whatever it is that's hindering him? But man, Obafemi is not the guy to be toying around with, because this guy is organically becoming one of the biggest stars in WWE, and in a relatively short amount of time. So it's going to be real interesting to see what they do here with the King of the Ring finals between Obafemi and main event Jey Uso. On the
Let me say real quick, Jay.
Yeah.
Look what it did to. I feel like everyone's opinion of Gunther kind of changed after the Sammy win, when Sammy beat him. But man, it feels like it really dropped the bottom out of him when Jay beat him.
Yeah,
because we had the same thing with Oba. Like that's even with interference or whatever they end up doing. If you go back on that record and you see Jey Uso win over him, it's like, ugh, he's a bad taste in your mouth.
I can understand that, but I feel like at this stage, if you're going to start dicking around with things like this, especially when you're talking about creative for Obafemi, it feels like this dude is so over right now. Like that loss to Lesnar at Clash in Italy did not diminish Femi at all. If anything,
Lesnar.
It really I don't know. It added some humility to Obafemi. It almost helped him, and that's a very rare thing when you are so over that you can lose a match and still emerge as the ultimate winner. Because I'm telling you what, man, the director for Monday Night Raw is really smart in the way they shoot the shots during Femi's entrances. I mean, the crowd is doing the strut and like the lighting behind them, putting in this whole aura that eclipsed like the whole side of the arena. We haven't seen treatment for a guy like this in quite some time, organically, that didn't come here or come to WWE from somewhere else. So I don't know, man. Like even if Femi does lose, it's not going to hurt him whatsoever. Whereas Jey Uso, if he does lose this match next weekend at the Night of Champions, it's a damn good thing Jimmy's back around, because he's got the tag team thing to fall back on. And that's just, I don't know.
I mean, that's where I'd like to see Jay anyways, in tag teams. Right. I don't want to see him in singles wrestling. He sucks air. He's so gassed out by the time he gets to the ring. Like you said, I think he drinks way too many gin and Usis. It did take me a couple minutes to pick that up, but you're welcome.
That's a good one. That was a good one. On the Queen of the Ring side of things, we are going to see Liv Morgan, the women's world champion, taking on Io Sky. We kind of saw this, like there's not a lot of shock value, like, wow, these two are going to the King or the Queen of the Ring finals. Yes, they are. And it's going to be interesting because, much like we just talked about with the King of the Ring side, you've got two women who very well known, very successful. They are, pillars in the women's scene right now in WWE. One of them holding one of the major prestigious championships. And I don't know, man. It's weird to me when you have stipulations such as the winner gets a shot at a world title at SummerSlam. One of the world champions is competing in this thing. So does that shift the favors, if you will, over to Liv Morgan in this, Eric? Or are you thinking that they're going to pull the trigger on Io Sky and send her into SummerSlam?
Um, I do think it lays on Liv more. I think they would rather give her the double champ, even though they're not doing anything with her. The same they did with Jade. There's no matches. There's no. I don't know. They don't know what to do with the women's champs for some reason. Rhea might be hurt, so that kind of messes with things.
Yeah.
I don't know who Liv would even face at SummerSlam if Mommy's out.
I don't know that could we see the return of Stephanie Vaquer if Liv was to win Queen of the Ring. She would have to still go to SummerSlam, but who would be her opponent? We haven't seen Vaquer in quite some time, and I don't know. You insert her into this, I'm like, okay, I can see that for the shock value.
That does make sense.
But on the other side, there's Io Sky. And what do you do with her, if she was to win? I don't know. Io Sky, like, I appreciate her. I think she's cute. I think she is a fun wrestler to watch. But, to go all in on her like that, like, I don't know. She's just... She can do it. She's got the skill. She's got the talent. She's got the support for sure. But Liv Morgan is operating on a whole different level right now. And with as volatile and shaky as the Judgment Day is right now as a whole, Liv Morgan really needs to win this match and establish herself as the leader, the undisputed leader of Judgment Day, which would be kind of a cool twist on the everyday faction. Brian, what's your takeaway?
One, hopefully Rhea is healthy for SummerSlam, because either way, if a Liv win or Io Sky win, they both give you storyline. Io taking on her best friend, or we get to rehash the Liv Rhea feud from the Dom situation, the love triangle. It's funny because, like, you have what Liv is probably the most pushed female wrestler right now she might be the most pushed female wrestler period right now. And then everyone, when you look online, says Io Sky is one of the best in-ring talents. But nobody that I know says that. That is just only people I've ever heard say this, the internet.
Everybody's saying it. Sports Illustrated saying it. Bleacher Report saying it.
It's funny because when you said she could do it, immediately Rob Schneider's voice was in my head. You can do it! I broke. I was like, I want to see Liv. I like Io Sky for what she is. I think she is a good in-ring talent, but I don't know, man. There's something about a woman that can't cut promos because of the language barrier, and sometimes her stuff just seems silly. I'd rather see it be Liv. I think Liv at this point, it's definitely, since they got rid of Finn running Judgment Day, and it does seem like it's about the part. And that's going to look really weird when you got one person with the two main belts and everybody else is sitting there like in all like looking at them.
Yeah, it's Eric. Do you see Io Sky as a real main event player here?
Oh, I hate.
I know you did the thing, and that's kind of what she's known for. But I mean, aside from that, I mean, do you see her as a legitimate star? And if not, no, I shouldn't say a legitimate star. She is a legitimate star. But a main event player, a perpetual contender to one of these world titles, either the WWE Women's title or the Women's World Championship. Do you see her as a viable option here, or is Liv Morgan just too big right now?
I hate that I'm getting jaded the more I watch the show, unfortunately, but. A year ago, I saw her as the the best women's wrestler. But now I don't know. Her moveset seems a little too limited. It's always bullet train attack, over the moonsault, dive through the middle rope. I don't know. She's just becoming too predictable, I think, for me. She's awesome. She's awesome, but I think you're right that Liv has that star power that that they need at the top of the women's division.
You
definitely have to there with the reversals and stuff like that. When you watch that style of wrestling, whether it be Io or Asuka or Kyrie or Julia even, they have some cool reversals, things like that. But man, it comes with a lot of botches, and it takes me out.
Yeah, 100%. Because, listen, if I'm in a fight with somebody, I ain't sticking around waiting while they position themselves and do something off a higher platform. In this case, the top rope for Io Sky. Going to be real interesting to see which way they go here with this. For me, like it's the Liv Morgan show, and it pains me to say that because I haven't been a big fan of hers, but I do respect what she's done, what she's become, so I can get behind it. I'm also going to be paying close attention and getting behind the Women's United States Championship match when Tiffany Stratton will be defending against Jade Cargill. And coming off of losses at WrestleMania and Clash in Italy, or was it? Yeah. Jade Cargill is getting another shot at a championship here in WWE. And like, I question the decision to put the title on her to begin with months ago, although, man, she carries herself. She looks like a star when she's able to keep her hair on. And the fact of the matter is, how many opportunities are you going to give this woman before somebody realizes she either needs more training or needs to just go from WWE? Now it's going to be Tiffany Stratton that's tasked with working with Jade Cargill. And I don't know, Brian, on paper, this should be a great matchup. This should be one of those matchups that threatens to steal the show, theoretically. But then the goddamn bell is going to ring, inevitably. Does Jade have the opportunity to rise, to pick herself up, to get on the level, or at least close to a level, of a Tiffany Stratton here?
On paper, she definitely should. Like, her moveset is, like, I think, like, her, like, what is it, the Jaded Edge or whatever her finisher is? I think it looks cool. I think everything that she does is on paper great. It's just the in between spots, from the bell ringing to that pin. It's just there's something not right there. Like, and it sometimes seems like it's dangerous to have her out there with people. It seems that she always rises back up, like after face playing it into those stairs, like that little gold that like they put into that scar area. There is a Japanese like thing where they intentionally break pottery and they fill it with gold, like they piece it back together and it becomes more beautiful broken than it does beforehand. It's like she basically took that on and like it's something like another cool thing about her. I can't get behind her, and I don't know what it is. But man, I feel like they let the air out of Tiffany too. Like, as soon as she lost that belt, and like right now, my biggest hopes for Tiffany is she gives up and just like lets Chelsea be at her side. I like the comedy of a Chelsea Tiffany duo. Like,
yeah. No, I can
so
totally see that.
Chelsea helps her get the win, and like they just say, like, let's run with it.
Yeah, that's yeah. Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton would be comedy gold if it's done right. If it's done right. Where are you at on this, Eric?
Uh,
Do
I
we
gotta,
see a new champion crown, or is it still going to be Tiffy time when they leave Riyadh?
side note, I got to give Brian props on that metaphor. I forget what that's called, but I know about
Me
what you're
too.
saying.
It's like Kinston or something like that. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
That was a great metaphor. Man, I actually like Jade more than I like Tacky Time. I don't know what it is, but I'm not a fan of Tiffany. I am a fan of her in the tag team. I like both of you guys are saying. Her and Chelsea Green is is that's what they're trying to do with like Alexa and Charlotte.
Yeah.
Like that's perfect. That being said, yeah, I like Jade more. Put the belt on Jade. Put Tiffany in that tag team with Chelsea Green. I'm good with that.
Well, when you talk about the United States Championship, we just previewed the women's title match. Let's look at the men's title match for the United States Championship. Trick Williams will be defending this championship at Night of Champions against Ricky Saints. This again, and this is one of those matches like these two know each other, these two respect one another, and under the bright lights of a WWE PLE, Trick Williams, Ricky Saints, on paper is going to be a dream match. I anticipate if we're going by Meltzer's bullshit star ratings, I'm expecting a 4-star match at worst between Williams and Ricky Saints because Brian, in my view, Trick Williams, Ricky Saints, two of the biggest, brightest stars for the future of WWE. Would you agree?
Half of it. Half of it,
Which
I agree
half?
with. Trick. I think Ricky Saints is not good at all. I think we see him wash out of the WWE here in a couple of years for sure. Oh man, there's nothing that I like about him. The faces he makes. I will say he does have some cool moves. I like that he stole the Undertaker walk on the ropes. I don't like this stuff. He just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I think the only reason he went over Hayes is because we're going to see Trick versus Hayes at SummerSlam. It's a much bigger spotlight for that caliber of match. Like they've had some great matches in NXT. I expect to see that again. But yeah, I think Ricky Saints is just like, I don't know what we're gonna do. Let's just throw him in the mix for a second. But I don't see him sticking around. I don't think he's got much talent at all.
Now, Trick Williams, he's just one of those guys that carries himself like a star. And, you know, a lot of Ricky Saints' success is people are still hanging on what he did in AEW, or they view him as an AEW guy that came over here. So he's going to garner some attention. Whether or not it's enough to carry him to the United States title, especially against a white hot. What the hell happened here? My whole screen went black.
Well, you're figuring that out. The only way Ricky Saints makes it is if Cody goes heel and he starts a stable. And you know that's one of the first people he wants in there.
Right.
That's
the only way I see him sticking around for a bit.
That would be amazing, and that would do a lot. That would be the one thing Cody Rhodes could do that would actually be a positive influence on the business. Because what the shit he's doing now isn't working. Not for me anyway. I don't know. Ricky Saints is one of those guys, much like Powerhouse Hobbs or Royce Keys, as he's known now. If his debut happened at a different time, he would probably be better received overall by the main roster fans. Because right now there is so much attention on all ego Ethan Page.
100%. That you're making the same thing I was thinking. It's
totally overshadowed Ricky Saints.
Ricky Saints, they're not comparable. It's Oba and Powerhouse Hobbs. just in a different way.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I feel so bad for Royce Keys, because he should be, I mean, at least making a run for one of the secondary titles, Intercontinental or United States. But because he came in when he did, and everybody is, getting all giddy over Obafemi, and look, I get it, I understand it, I'm right there with you. But you get a piece of talent like a Royce Keys, and you're doing nothing with him. You're jobbing him out in record time. You're not treating him very well, for the lack of better terms. Like, what the fuck does the guy got to do here? But along those lines, Ricky Saints is desperate to break out on his own, desperate to get out from this unfortunate shadow that he's in, that's cast by guys like Trick Williams, Ethan Page, on that same level, man. But like Ethan Page and Trick Williams, they have the ability to really kick it up a notch, and that's what I really appreciate about those guys. So Trick Williams and Ricky Saints, can we all agree Trick is going to retain the United States title here?
God, I hope so.
Well, this match might be a little bit harder to call. It's going to be a steel cage match, a non-title, because neither one of these guys, well, I guess Braun does, co-holder of the World Tag Team Championship, but steel cage match, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker. Theoretically, this is going to put the period at the end of the sentence on this rivalry between Rollins and the Vision, the faction that he started late last year. And I don't know, man, like we talked about the concept of the steel cage match, that back in the day, this was the blow off to a long-standing rivalry. I feel like that's what they're using this match and this vehicle for. I am here for it. I'm I would like to say that Braun Breaker is probably going to win this one, although you just never know. Eric, I'll start with you first on this one. Where are you at with Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker inside a cage?
Oh man, Seth feels like I'm so bad with analogies. Feels like a man without a home. Is that the phrase?
Mm-hmm.
Seth feels like he's like kind of in limbo right now. He feels like he could use the bump more than Braun. But I see, oh my gosh, I'm losing everything right now. I'm sorry. Bronson Reed, there we go. I think it's time for Bronson Reed to come back. I'm seeing his Twitter post, and he's looking jacked.
Yeah, he is.
I think it's time for Bronson Reed to come back and help Braun after. Oh gosh, I'm losing everybody's names. I'm sorry. What's Oh.
Yep, that guy.
Yep, that guy. That guy. I give up. Very professional. Give it to Braun Breaker.
All right, Braun Breaker for the win here. Brian, what do you think?
I circled Braun's name on paper. I think if we're going to push the newer talent and we're going to push the Vision, he needs to win this. Seth is one of those guys that's taken hundreds of losses at this point. I feel like we're going to see Street Profits come in. We're going to see Vision come in. I think it should be a fun match. And how that works with the cage. Are they passing weapons in? What are they doing? But for me, I think you just have to establish another faction. And besides the Bloodline, it looks like MFTs are on their way out. They should push the Vision as best as they can. For me, like we're coming with War Games coming up, I feel like, not like directly, but in the future, you have to establish two factions. I don't like it when they piece together teams. I feel like that's what we're probably going to see with a Cody piece together faction yet again. But if they want to do it right, write it down, like, and have the books look good, and I would love to see a Bloodline versus full squad vision.
I kind of feel like in the best interest of everybody that's involved, get rid of the Vision. The Vision is cursed.
The curse.
Yeah, man.
Or bring Danhausen in, something, because this group has not materialized anywhere near what they had hoped.
That's injuries, though.
I mean, it is, but Jesus Christ. I mean, for the longest time, we sat here and like the women's tag team championship are cursed because whoever was holding the titles at the time, whether it be injury or releases or something, like the title wound up being vacant. It became a running joke. But then it got to be not so funny because anytime somebody was co-holders of that championship, something was happening to them. And when you look at Rollins, his injury, and then Logan Paul goes out, and then Bronson Reed goes out, and like Braun Breaker, the only one left standing of all people is Austin Theory. And it's, what the hell is going on with the Vision? So I don't know. In my view, they just need to blow that shit up because it ain't working for one reason or the other. What is going to be working though is the main event for Night of Champions. It will be a triple threat match for the WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes will be defending the title against both Gunther and Sami Zayn. And again, we must as a reminder, this event is taking place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, a place where they treat Sami Zayn like the homecoming hero. And now he's got himself involved in this conflict between Cody and Gunther. He's made no bones about the fact he wants to be a world champion. Does it happen at Night of Champions, Brian?
I honestly don't know what they're going to do in this match. We were talking about this before we went on air. Because when you factor in who wins the King of the Ring and who would be facing Cody, or possibly any one of these three, if it's going to be Jay or if it's going to be Oba. I guess Oba would be going against Roman, like we said, but
right,
man, I don't see that storyline. So it's like, who do we see face Jay Uso? It's going to be, I don't. This is a good way to give Cody or give Sammy the belt without making it look like he actually beat somebody way more talented than him. With 3 people in there, you could easily let him win, and you do it in front of Riyadh. You're going to get a huge pop for it. But does any of us think that it's not going to be like immediately lost by SummerSlam?
The second they come back to America, it's just not. He's just not the guy. I hate to be the one to say it because I know Sami Zayn has his legion of fans, I guess. I don't know, man. Like, Intercontinental champ, fine. United States champ, fine. Tag team champ, I'm okay with it. But this guy, I don't know, man. Like, they keep trying to push him as a legitimate main event player, a heavyweight contender. He is not it. Like, I don't know what the fuck is missing, but something is missing from this guy. Okay, there it is. There it truly is.
And I feel like Sammy would be a great guy to hang out with, have a beer or whatever.
I don't think so. He looks like a douche.
You don't like gingers. That's all it is.
He has nothing to do with it.
No,
I
right,
have a
whatever.
problem
I don't
with the fact
believe you.
he's a douche. Eric, triple threat rules. No disqualification, no count out. Cody Rhodes, Gunther, and Sami Zayn. Where are you going here?
I do think they're going to give it to Sammy. I do. It was either now or WrestleMania, and he doesn't deserve it at WrestleMania. So just give it to him now. Get it over with. Let it, and hope he loses it quickly. Like you said, he's not that guy. He's just not. I don't want him to win, but I think they're going to give it to him.
Yeah, listen, I said the same thing about Cody Rhodes a handful of years ago, and we cannot get out from under this guy. So, totally.
I was watching Cody this morning, watching Friday Night SmackDown, and I look at I'm watching him, and I'm like, who likes this guy? I do not understand it. Like, there's nothing appealing to me at all. It's not his moveset, not his charisma. I think he looks weird. If we want to use the word douchey, I think he's the definition of douchey. Especially with the bleached blonde hair and the freaking tattoo on his neck and the I don't know if it's a Captain America wannabe Homelander, looks more like whole outfit deal. There's nothing there. I would rather see Sammy as champ than him. And I don't want to see either one as champ. I'd rather see Powerhouse Hobbs or Royce Keys.
That's a bold statement, though.
I don't like what they're doing with Gunther right now. They're not making him look like the be-all, end-all that they did before Jey Uso. He's really gone down.
How can he be with Oba there? You can't have two monsters, and you got Brock, you got Oba, and Gunther's lost enough weight at this point. He doesn't have that imposing presence that he once did.
No, and that's what sucks, because in real life, that dude could hurt some people if he wanted to. Straight up. Gunther is as legitimate of a badass as anybody in the business right now. Like, those chops, make no mistake.
How long have we seen the chop videos of his? Long before he even made it to NXT.
Yeah.
Like, he was all over the internet with those.
This dude, no, he is a legitimate badass. Like, if I'm picking like an all-star team to go to an actual fight, he's my number one draft pick. I'm taking Gunther for sure. Because that dude is as legit as they come right now. But listen, they won't pull the trigger on him because that would make too much sense. It's going to wind up being Cody, or it's going to wind up being Sami Zayn, and Gunther is getting shoved back. When you're shoving a guy like that back behind somebody like a Sami Zayn in terms of creative and stuff like that, you're focusing on the wrong thing, man. Just the wrong thing.
Amen.
So, let's look at some other news and headlines. We spent a tremendous amount of time looking at the Night of Champions, but again, it goes down next weekend, live on ESPN. The first hour will be on the linear channel of ESPN, so that being your cable companies and things of this nature. 1 p.m. Eastern Time here in the States, and internationally you can see it on Netflix. Anywho, let's talk about TNA. TNA underwent a major shockwaves this week with the announcement of several releases from their roster, including some of their biggest names such as Sami Callihan and Tessa Blanchard. Also a name that really stuck out to me was Tommy Dreamer, who was their booker, their head writer for creative over at TNA. And this is a guy, much like he was with ECW, his loyalty to the TNA brand was second to none. So he took the release very difficult, very hard, I should say. Which sucks because Tommy Dreamer, say what you want about him, like this is a guy that has a legitimate love and passion for pro wrestling. And you could see a lot of his influence in the way the TNA product was being presented. Now, as an interesting side note, there is now rumors and speculation, and I have seen this on multiple websites this morning, that the guy that could replace Tommy Dreamer as the head writer for TNA Wrestling would be Road Dogg Jesse James, who recently left WWE, where he served in a creative role on the creative writing staff under Paul Levesque. Bringing somebody with the experience of Road Dogg in, Brian, you got to believe would be just a win-win for TNA, especially a brand that Road Dogg is very familiar with, having wrestled there quite a while ago.
I was about to say before you said it was Road Dogg, I think anybody new in that spot will be helpful because I've been trying. I cannot get myself to watch TNA. Like WWE, NXT, AAA, whoa! Also, even or even AEW. The one thing I cannot get myself to watch a full episode of is TNA.
Ironically, I can watch a whole episode of TNA before I can AEW, and I don't know why that is.
I just can't get behind their storylines, the characters. So anybody, I want to say, that picks up that pen should be able to do a better job than that, because I can't get myself to watch a whole show. Man, it's going to be Road Dogg. I don't know. That's a scary prospect. But who knows? Give him a blank slate. Let him start fresh with a new company. I wouldn't be surprised if he could do something there.
We got Hollywood Q joining us now, live on location, as it were. Q, good to see you, brother.
Yo, what's happening? Well, how's it going, everybody? Good to see y'all.
It's good to see you. We just broke down the Night of Champions premium live event card that's coming up next weekend in Riyadh. Do you have a prediction for King and Queen of the Ring winners?
Well, my original prediction already been eliminated, as in Charlotte Flair. And I'm already shaking my head over this whole Jey Uso thing, but I guess this is a whole storyline that they're pushing with the bloodline all over again. But it looks like it's going to end up being Jey, the way they're doing this. I would like it to be Oba, but there's so many different variables that's going into that, with Brock looming around, and I don't know. It looked like Jey might end up being the one, and I was against Liv Morgan being in there, but they obviously didn't have anything else for her to do, even though she's the champ. But it might be a blessing in disguise with Rhea Ripley being pretty much out of action now. So I don't know. It's kind of up in the air right now. I'm gonna go with my heart says Oba, but I already know it's gonna end up being Jey.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, if I can be honest with you. And then setting up eventually the rubber match between Oba and Brock Lesnar. I don't see Oba losing this match without some sort of influence on Brock Lesnar, like I mentioned earlier on. We now have a triple threat match for the WWE Championship at Night of Champions. Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Sami Zayn. Hollywood, what's your take here?
I'm gonna go Gunther.
Oh, all right.
I'm gonna go Gunther in this one. I think it's because I think we need a shakeup. You know, SmackDown has been kind of in a dreadful creative bankruptcy period,
Hmm.
and I would like to see something fresh. And I think Gunther winning this would be a fresh thing to do. And them inserting Sami Zayn in this thing is really they're gonna try to protect Cody. I can see
Q,
Sammy can take the pin.
Q, you said you wanted it fresh. You mean fresh would be us having at SummerSlam Jey Uso versus Gunther?
Well, I
Per your
want
predictions?
Oba.
I'm saying
My
out of your
heart
predictions.
says Oba. I would love it to be Oba,
Jey
but I
versus
just don't see
Gunther is
him doing it.
opposite of fresh.
Yeah, that's not fresh at all. But
No.
yeah, that's not fresh at all. But Jay with anybody wouldn't be fresh.
That's true.
I know this is a little off topic, but speaking of shakeup, I heard CM Punk is going to come to SmackDown when he comes back to shake things up.
He needs to.
Away from Roman Reigns. That's what that is. With Roman now firmly on Monday Night Raw, they need to separate those two before there's a real life fucking problem.
Oh, really?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Okay.
That look, the animosity between those two that we saw going into WrestleMania wasn't storyline. Those two just do not like each other.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's strategic move and a good one. It is a good idea for Punk to move to SmackDown. He hasn't really spent a tremendous amount of time there exclusively since coming back. He's been pretty much on Monday Night Raw. So moving him to SmackDown is a good move. I was hoping that we were going to actually see Cody Rhodes and CM Punk for the WWE title at SummerSlam, but you know, Punk. I would like to see him get one more run with the title, as long as it makes sense. But moving him to SmackDown, they're trying to do anything they can to boost SmackDown's ratings, because man, they're so inconsistent. But like overall, when you take a broader picture at the ratings, it's on a downward spiral. So they're going to have to do something to shake it up. And Punk is as popular as any wrestler in WWE right now. We mentioned TNA a little bit ago with the releases. Sami Callihan, Tessa Blanchard, Mila Grace. There's a Tommy Dreamer, of course. What's interesting is now they have to regroup and get ready for their big annual Slammiversary pay-per-view that goes down next Sunday. So, man, oh man, if you're working for TNA, I gotta imagine it's pretty difficult right now to wrap your head around any kind of program that you are scheduled to do show-wise. Speaking of shows, we've spent a lot of time on this program discussing AEW's future on the Turner network, whether it be TBS or TNT, with the impending merger with WBD. They went ahead and sidestepped this, gentlemen. I happened to notice personally before I saw the headline that All Elite Wrestling has struck a deal with Tubi, the free on-demand television service. Tubi is now airing the first 4 seasons of both Dynamite and Collision. So it's kind of funny. I went on to Tubi the other day, and the first thing that pops up was Dynamite, and I was like, what the fuck is happening right now, and when did they get on Tubi? Well, this is I feel like this is a trial run to see if Tubi would be a viable option for AEW, because it seems like when this merger does take place, AEW is out and will not be seen on Turner's broadcast television networks moving after the merger. Much like what WCW had seen, you're getting a bunch of corporate people in there that just don't understand, don't like, and don't want professional wrestling in their portfolio, which is unfortunate and very close-minded, but who am I anyway? Leo Rush, haven't heard that guy's name in a hot minute. But wound up winning the Ring of Honor Television Championship late last week. So good to see that he's still doing things out there. And then, I don't know, the AEW Tubi thing. Brian, do you think this is going to help AEW? Do you think it's going to move the needle at all? I mean, it does put their product on a free platform. And if you're a wrestling fan and you've not seen it, you may check it out. But do you think this moves the needle at all? And is Tubi a viable option to stream AEW content once this merger happens and kicks them out of the CNN Center?
I mean, it can only be move the needle forward. It's not going to lose viewers from it. I don't know how many would actually gain. I don't see myself going on Tubi to watch it. How many seasons are they currently at? I know you said the first 4 are on there. What season are they in?
6, 7, 6 or 7.
I find it kind of interesting
Oh,
and nice.
Jesus.
I do find it kind of interesting myself to go and think about, oh, do I want to go back and watch that? Like, I don't. But I don't know if I was bored. I mean, there's enough of us that at work that, like, you know, you have to spend 8 hours of your day watching something. It kind of fills out for that group, but we're such a small percentage of night shift workers looking for something to watch. I guess it could be any shift, but you're basically just scrounging for whatever.
For sure. Hollywood, where do you see this heading? Could this be a future home for AEW?
I mean, it can. I don't see why not. You know, if you're AEW, you want to try all kind of things. You want to try to stay as relevant as possible. The only problem I have with them is they, for the longest time, have been very terrible at advertising. And just hearing you say that you just happened to see it on there was a bit strange. You know, it was kind of like you didn't hear any advertisements for it, so it was just there. You know, so I think what they have to do is they have to get better with their advertising, just like with the whole Danhausen thing. Like you don't even see them. They could have been advertising to him. So even advertising in general has been their issue for the longest time. So I don't know. I really don't know. It's a wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, we said on this program a couple of months ago, they're going to have to explore all kinds of options, because I think they got a little bit too comfy in thinking that they had a forever home with TBS or TNT. And the fact of the matter is that is not the case. And I got to believe the very first time they heard the word merger, Tony Khan puckered up. You feel me? Like something just, like he's probably shitting bricks right now. And like Tubi has low key grown in popularity. And a lot of that is their partnership with the NFL, and they get co-broadcasting rights, streaming rights to the Super Bowl. Like if you don't have Fox or you don't have their app, you could go on to Tubi and watch the thing for free. And they've done that the last 2 years. So they're toying around with live programming. And I feel like, man, this is going to do now for Tubi. This may be a game changer if they were to land AEW as the exclusive home. But this is where I'm worried that they're going to go to a pay per view type of scenario where we got to pay this on this streaming app to get their content. Well, I can tell you personally, it ain't going to be All Elite Wrestling that entices me to spend even more money on yet another streaming platform to watch a product that I think is subpar and low-key shit, if I can be honest with you. But that's just, I'm not the demo, and I understand that. So, as we cross the top of the hour, I do want to run down this list real quick. This was a fun little list. The greatest wrestling movies of all time. And this either is about wrestling or features wrestlers. Now, they say they have 45 movies total on this list. Clearly, we're not going down all 45. We're just going to go down the top 15. Starting at 15 is the 1986 cult classic Body Slam. Brian, I know you're a big fan here. Roddy Piper, Tanya Roberts, Captain Lou Albano. Listen, this is what puts wrestling in a very negative light. When you get stereotypical bullshit like this movie, I could not get behind it. I know some of my friends and colleagues just think the world of it, and I appreciate that. It just was not for me. Have any of you guys seen this?
Once. Not long after it came out, I believe. I was kind of surprised when you said that. I'm like, I remember that because I'm like, that's Roddy Piper. I'm like, yeah, I watched it once. I want to say I don't remember if it was on TV. I can't imagine it being on TV anywhere. Must have been a VHS rental. Thinking, cool wrestling in a movie, gotta be great.
I watched it a long time ago.
There's too many to be 15.
Well, I mean, some of these deal with amateur wrestling. A couple of them do anyway. So as we get to those, you'll know for sure. Number 14, No Holds Barred, the first starring major motion picture starring Hulk Hogan. This came out in 1989. This wound up opening at the number 2 spot in the box office, only behind Indiana Jones 3, which came out in 1989. The Last Crusade, I believe it was.
It was.
So, No Holds Barred. Any fans here?
Hell yeah. That's like that might be Mount Rushmore territory. If it's actually a pro wrestling movie and not a movie with a pro wrestler.
100%. I
Solid.
actually have it on VHS and DVD.
That was a multiple VHS rental in my life.
Q, you a fan of No Holds Barred? I mean, it materialized into the main event of SummerSlam in 1989.
Yeah.
With Zeus teaming up with the Macho Man against Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
I'll tell you what, the movie was way better than that match. Way better.
I really can't argue, if I can be honest. 13, a newer theatrical release, and I mean, it was really popular for a minute. But when I go back and watch this, and again, I watched it 1.5 times. It's just now one of those movies where I'm like, ooh, this is my go-to. I'm purchasing this DVD just to have it as a part of my collection. Nacho Libre with Jack Black. Eric, you laugh. What's so funny here? You were a fan of this movie?
I've never seen the movie, but I don't know. Just the idea of the whole dang thing is funny to me.
It's something. I'll tell you that. It's something. Brian Q, either you guys a fan of this movie?
Not a fan, and it should not be above No Holds Barred in any world.
Agreed.
That's ridiculous.
Agreed.
I couldn't agree more. 100%.
And it's not Jack Black. I like Jack Black. This is not a good movie.
No, they could have done a lot better with it.
I heard they're doing a sequel with Chad Gable.
Number 12, Man on the Moon. This is the biopic of comedian Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman, of course, had that very famous rivalry with Jerry the King Lawler, and it was in the filming of this movie that they did finally publicly reveal or confirm that the whole angle between Lawler and Kaufman was indeed written. It was not a real-life argument, and even though David Letterman may tell you otherwise, this with his show playing the backdrop for one of the most infamous scenes in late-night television show history, Kaufman just kept badgering Lawler to the point to where it escalates into this rivalry, and Lawler putting him out of commission for a hot minute with a pile driver at this particular event. But Man on the Moon, Jim Carrey's performance as Kaufman, one of the greatest performances I have personally ever seen. You guys a fan or no?
I'm a fan, and if you're talking about, like, I don't know, like you said, like, Jim Carrey as Andy Kaufman is great. Like, it could have been an Oscar-worthy performance. But again, if it's based on my actual interest, No Holds Barred is higher than Man on the Moon.
Number 11 is WCW the movie, or as they call it, Ready to Rumble. This is what ultimately leads to David Arquette becoming, in real life, the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Arguably
Terrible.
One of the darkest nights in the history of pro wrestling. Nothing against David Arquette, but everything to do with the booking, because that dude had no shit in business holding that title.
Awful.
Terrible movie. I remember me and my buddies being so excited to see it because we were going to get a new movie about professional wrestling, and wow, was that a letdown. Again, another movie that should not be ahead of No Holds Barred.
Who made this list?
Meltzer.
This is Ranker.com.
Oh, God.
All right, we'll run through these here. Number 10, Queen of the Ring, the story of Mildred Burke, one of the pioneers in women's wrestling. I haven't watched that one yet, but I
Never
do.
heard of that one.
No, it was in a limited release last year. I think
I do remember that one now. I did not see it though.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
At the same time as another movie about a female wrestler too. They kind of played off of each other. Made it look confusing.
Number 9, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake. As far as documentaries go, this was a damn good one. Although
I love this one.
I love it, Q, but there is a point to where I understand addiction is a nasty thing, and it makes us do and act in certain ways. But there was a point here where I wanted to turn the TV off and just have nothing left to do for Jake Roberts. Jake Roberts he one of the biggest stars of the 80s into the 90s. But he has let addiction, he has let a lot of bad choices dictate his life, dictate his career. And there's only so many times where I could see a dude of that nature feel sorry for himself or make himself be a victim. Like I look at him differently now. And that it's not because he was an addict, it's because how he responded to it. If you look at Beyond the Mat, it was very heavily featured in that movie. And then he said once he saw the final product of that particular film, he wanted to change his life around. Well, that was all probably 4 or 5 weeks before he was back on the wagon. But to document this, and this is why, Diamond Dallas Page is a saint among us, if I can be honest. What he did for Jake, what he's done for a lot of pro wrestlers, Lex Luger, and I mean, you go right on down the line. There's a lot of people who owe a lot to Diamond Dallas Page. So if you're interested
Scott.
in what?
I said Scott Hall.
Oh,
I mean, that's one of the big ones for me. But yeah.
Scott Hall's a good one too. Yeah, that was sad. That was real sad. But I can only listen to "Woe Is Me" before I just start tuning in, because it's like, bitch, you did this. You did this. This is based on your actions. If you didn't feel like you could act in a certain way as an adult, there are people out there who will help you. If you're serious about hating what you've done with your life, because if you're saying it but you're not doing anything to rectify it, it's just white noise at that point. And I got nothing for you. I don't trust anything that you say. And on what was documented is like, what a bitch. You are a bitch. What are you doing? But the way it wraps itself around, I thought it was very well done. Very well done, Doc. I don't know, man. Again, Jake the Snake's another one of those guys. I don't look at the same anymore. I just don't. Number 8 comes in HBO's documentary, simply called Andre the Giant. And if you have not checked this out, if you have HBO, I would highly recommend you go see if this is streaming on there, because this is as well done of a biography of Andre Ruzimov as I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of them. But this guy is legendary status, just legendary status. And it looks like we lost Q, unfortunately. I guess that comes to be expected when you're on location, right? We had a whole conversation about this shit. But be that as it may, Brian, have you seen this? This documentary?
Yeah, I remember. I watched it when it came out. I remember telling at work, being like, "Dude, you got to watch this. This is great." I think I gave you my HBO Max password even at one point.
Yeah, then
you didn't hear the HBO Max?
Huh?
I said you didn't hear the HBO Max.
No. I think I wound up finally seeing it on Peacock because of their deal with WWE at that time.
Yep.
That's where you would go and watch all the pay-per-views and all this stuff. But man, oh man, what a story Andre had, and very eloquently documented in this film. Eric, have you seen this?
Unfortunately, I've not. I'm not really much of a movie guy. I'm a wrestling guy. I need to watch these movies. But
definitely need to watch some of these. It's definitely no holds barred at this point.
One word, Dookie. Number 7 comes Warrior. Movie about two estranged brothers who come face to face in a high-stakes mixed martial arts. There were a couple of independent wrestlers that made cameos in this film, which is why I guess it's on this list. But at the same time, huh?
Nor would I put it so high.
No, fuck no. And again, shouldn't be over no holds barred. because it's not even a real pro wrestling movie. So
No.
calm down.
I'm like, that's an MMA movie over anything. Like,
Right.
It shocked me that you said that one. It's like, no.
Number 6 is a movie that was centered around the amateur ranks of wrestling. But listen, I got very wrapped up in this story because of its ties to wrestling, and in a manner of speaking, involved or had the name Kurt Angle attached to it. The movie's called Foxcatcher, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with what Team Foxcatcher was, but this was an amateur wrestling camp run by John DuPont, and featured arguably the greatest amateur wrestler in the world at the time, one David Schultz. Through a lot of twists and turns, not to play the role of spoiler, but I'm going to, things culminate in a very violent and very real way between DuPont and Schultz. And this has also been the subject of a pretty gripping documentary, like a real documentary. But the movie, features Channing Tatum and Steve Carell. So this is a very good story. It's a real story, real life story. Very captivating. So if you're not familiar with Foxcatcher, I would suggest do some research. Number 5 is Fighting with My Family, which is a real life story of Paige, which is ironic with her recent return to WWE. Have you seen this, Brian?
Yeah, I like it. It's a good movie.
I thought so.
List, but yeah.
A little bit corny, a little, a time or two. But you know who I really appreciated in that movie more than anybody? No, it wasn't The Rock. Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn was so good in that as the head trainer for NXT. And to see him really lean into that, like you could tell he wasn't just phoning it in. He may not be a wrestling fan, but you could tell he respects the business. At least that's what I took away from it. But yeah, it's a decent movie. 4, The Iron Claw, the movie of the Von Erich family. This is a real new release, just a couple of years ago. Me personally, like I looked at it for what it was, but I know too much of the Von Erich history, and I found myself critiquing it. Nope, that's not what happened there. Nope, why did they say that? That's not, like, I drive myself nuts. The Iron Claw, where you at on here, Brian?
I also knew the story, especially after watching the Dark Side of the Ring, which might be a better watch than Iron Claw.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to watch a movie about wrestling, I wouldn't suggest that one. It's depressing as hell. I mean, that whole story about that family is depressing as hell. I mean, it's a sad story.
They were cursed.
For sure.
Just straight up from day one, it seemed like.
Yeah.
Number 3, Beyond the Mat. We mentioned that a little bit ago, and I feel like this is perfectly placed. Simultaneous 4 features from director Barry Blaustein, who just passed away here a couple of weeks ago. A big wrestling fan, was a movie producer for a lot of Hollywood heavyweights such as The Nutty Professor. Just a whole slew of movies he's had his name attached to, but he brought his talents to make his own documentary, Beyond the Mat, and it does include unprecedented backstage access during the Rock Mankind I Quit match at the Royal Rumble. And if that match sounds familiar, it's because that is the one where The Rock took a chair and pummeled the shit out of Mick Foley with 11 of the hardest headshots I have ever heard another wrestler take.
In front of his children.
in front of his children.
in front of his children.
Awful. Just awful.
That movie, because when it came out, I mean, the internet was kind of around, but we didn't have like the behind the scenes information like we do now.
Right.
That movie was interesting because it kind of gave us a peek into something that like we've never seen before. It was basically, I mean, if I was the guy who created Dark Side of the Ring, that was my inspiration for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Number 2, Vision Quest. Again, this is amateur wrestling based with Matthew Modine. I saw this movie once, didn't really get behind it. I kind of forgot about it till I just seen it on this list. Were anybody a fan of this?
I've not seen that. Man, I honestly, every time you say amateur wrestling, I thought you were going to bring up, there was a movie came out 2 years ago, Unstoppable, about the one-legged wrestler that ended up winning the NCAA championship.
Mm-hmm.
That one, I would have been surprised if you were going to tell me an amateur wrestling movie was going to make that list. That would have been the one, but I've never even heard of that one.
I heard of it, just wasn't a fan of it. And that brings us to number 1, The Wrestler with Mickey
I knew
Rourke.
it was going to be The Wrestler, and okay. I could see it being in the top 4, but man, I don't know if I'd pick one. But at least it is fully focused on pro wrestling.
Right.
Also, another wrestling movie. That's not fun.
No, but I do appreciate it. They really did a decent job at depicting what goes on the independent scene, especially when you get a guy that was at the top of the mountain and you see that fall from grace. A lot of people speculated that this was loosely based on Jake the Snake Roberts, and I could totally see that. Just the way Jake's life worked out and Mickey Rourke's character's life worked out, I could see where there was a lot of similarities there. Whether that is the case or not, nobody will ever tell you the truth. But I could see the correlation there. So, well, John, yeah.
I was going to say there was a couple that I had written down when I saw your rundown. I thought we would see on there that we didn't. Jericho's Dark Match. That new, it was kind of a horror movie about indie wrestling.
Mm.
That was definitely better than some of those movies on that list.
I was waiting to hear Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah, that's another one with Shia LaBeouf.
Yep.
Down syndrome. That's
I
a good
haven't
one.
seen that.
It is a good movie. Again, it's not it's not overly I don't know. When I think of wrestling, I expect a wrestling movie to kind of almost incorporate that same feeling. So when you get these movies that are like sentimental, heartfelt movies, I'm like, it doesn't really line up to me.
Right.
Now, 2 movies that show wrestling, they have wrestling in them, but are not about wrestling, should be on that list. Rocky 3. Definitely. With the opening scene with Hogan. And then also Highlander. The very start of Highlander takes place at a pro wrestling arena. I was wondering if we're going to see those 2. And also, if you're going to put a movie like Warrior that has pro wrestlers in it, then you got to give me something like They Live.
Right.
Roddy Piper. Because that's cult classic.
Well, I totally agree. He went there to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And he ran out of bubblegum.
It might be the longest fight scene I've ever seen in any movie. That's like a 10, 15-minute scene with him and his buddy just beating the shit out of each other in the alleyway.
Still ranked as one of the greatest fight scenes in cinematic history. Like,
And
it's
it
in the
should be.
top 5.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, we're going to go ahead and start winding this episode down, a little special extended edition of the Fatal 4-Way. We certainly appreciate everybody tuning in with us here on the PFC Entertainment Network. And we will be back here in 2 weeks' time, right here on the PFC Entertainment Network, with a special 4th of July themed edition of the show. And it will go down Friday night, July the 3rd at 6 p.m., right here where you're watching this episode and all the other great shows here on the PFC Entertainment Network on Facebook, YouTube, and Riverside.fm. We hope that you will join us. We're going to have another cool list, countdown, if you will, the most patriotic pro wrestlers of all time. We're going to break it all down. Plus, we will also be recapping Night of Champions and the fallout from that. What are we looking at heading into SummerSlam? Once we get Night of Champions out of the way, all roads will be going to US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis on August 1st and 2nd for SummerSlam this year. Will we see Oba Femi and Roman Reigns? Will we see Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes? It remains to be seen. But for all the latest news and information, you can check us out on the PFC Network on Facebook, on TikTok, on Twitter. And with that, go out this week, be awesome to yourselves and to each other, and we'll see you next time right here on the Fatal 4-Way, live on the PFC Entertainment Network.
Happy Father's Day, boys.
Well, same to you, man.